Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 26th of July. India celebrates 20 years of victory in Kargil war. Opposition parties hold protests against Pakistani Prime Minister. And no change in US commitment in Afghanistan, says Mike Pompeo. And now for all the details. India on Friday celebrated the 20th anniversary of the victory in the Kargil war with Pakistan. On July 26, 1999, Indian armed forces secured one of the most dramatic and hard-fought victories in the history. Indian President Ramnath Kovind on Friday led the nation in paying tributes to fallen soldiers killed in the war.
India remembered its fallen soldiers killed in 1999 war with Pakistan in northern Jammu and Kashmir's Kargil on its 20th anniversary on Friday. Indian President Ramnath Kovind paid tribute to the Kargil war heroes at the Chinar Corps War Memorial in Srinagar. Vijay Divas or Victory Day is the anniversary of Kargil war that took place between 3rd of May and 26th of July 1999 in the Kargil district of Jammu and Kashmir and elsewhere along the line of control or LOC. Indian Army, Navy and Air Force chiefs paid floral tributes and lighted eternal flame for the soldiers in Dras sector, which was at the center of most of the conflict. In the Kargil war, Indian armed forces defeated Pakistan at the heights of Batalik, Kargil and Dras sectors in Jammu and Kashmir. Indian Army Chief assured the nation that any task given to defense services will always be accomplished, no matter how difficult it is.
My message is don't do it. This was a misadventure. Misadventures are normally not repeated. You'll get a bloodier nose next time.
Father of Captain Vikram Batra, an Indian soldier killed during the war who was awarded country's highest gallantry award, the Paramveer Chakra, remembered his son.
कारगिल के टाइम पर उन्होंने घुसपैठ की और उसका करारा जवाब उन्हें दिया गया, उन्हें बाहर धकेल दिया गया, लेकिन वो अभी तक अपनी हरकतों से बाज नहीं आए हैं.
Nearly 500 Indian soldiers died on the snow-capped peaks of Kargil in the campaign to oust hundreds of infiltrators from Pakistan in the summer of 1999. Kargil conflict is also referred to as Operation Vijay, which was the name of the Indian operation to clear the Kargil sector.
Opposition parties in Pakistan held protest rallies in several cities on Thursday, accusing Prime Minister Imran Khan's government of ruining the economy and seeking to intimidate and silence its opponents. The protests came a year after Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party swept to power following a bitterly contested election amid mounting economic problems for Pakistan and a political climate that has grown increasingly angry.
Opposition parties in Pakistan held protest rallies in several cities on Thursday, accusing Prime Minister Imran Khan's government of ruining the economy and seeking to intimidate and silence its opponents. In Karachi, thousands of supporters of the Pakistan People's Party or PPP, country's other main opposition party, gathered to hear party leader Bilawal Bhutto, son of the murdered former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. The so-called Black Day protests came a year after Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party swept to power following a bitterly contested election amid mounting economic problems for Pakistan and a political climate that has grown increasingly angry.
जिसने आवाम का जीना आराम कर दिया, वो सिलेक्टेड हुकूमत जिसने महंगाई का बम गिरा दिया, वो सिलेक्टेड हुकूमत जिसने पाकिस्तान का दुनिया भर में वकार गिरा दिया, और आज हम इस हुकूमत के खिलाफ बाकायदा अलम बगावत बुलंद कर रहे हैं.
There were similar protests in other cities including Lahore and Peshawar. In Lahore, protesters briefly scuffled with police while on their way to an opposition rally. The leader of the other main opposition party, Shehbaz Sharif of the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, which was ousted from power last year, told the crowd that Imran Khan's government would face accountability soon.
एक दिन आने वाला है कि 22 को आवाम का हाथ होगा, तुम्हारा बलिदान होगा, तुमसे हिसाब लेंगे.
Surging prices of fuel and everyday staples, a plunging currency that has lost a quarter of its value since the election, and allegations of media censorship and stifling opposition voices has fueled the protests.
U.S. Department of State spokesperson Morgan Ortagus on Thursday said that it is time to build upon the successful meeting of Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan and U.S. President Donald Trump. Khan arrived in Islamabad on Thursday upon completion of his three-day visit to the U.S., where he held talks with President Donald Trump, interacted with congressional leaders and addressed a think tank.
U.S. Department of State spokesperson Morgan Ortagus on Thursday said that it is time to build upon the successful meeting of Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan and U.S. President Donald Trump. Ortagus in a press briefing said that Pakistani Prime Minister promised to urge Taliban to negotiate with the Afghan government, calling it an important step. She said that several issues were discussed between Khan and Trump and that the U.S. was committed to the fight against terrorism.
This meeting, of course, gave the chance for the President and the Secretary to meet with Prime Minister Khan to build a personal connection and rapport. And now we think it's time to make progress on the success of this first meeting. You know, I would note one of the things that the Prime Minister said is that he vowed to urge the Taliban to negotiate with the Afghan government. We are committed to peace in Afghanistan.
Pakistan's Prime Minister arrived in Islamabad on Thursday upon completion of his three-day visit to the United States, where he held talks with President Donald Trump, interacted with congressional leaders and addressed a think tank. He admitted that his country still has about 30,000 to 40,000 militants. Meanwhile, Khan in a cabinet meeting on Thursday said that U.S. President will visit Pakistan soon.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani on Thursday agreed that it was time to accelerate efforts to end the war in Afghanistan. Pompeo assured Ghani that there has been no change to President Trump's South Asia strategy.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani on Thursday agreed that it was time to accelerate efforts to end the war in Afghanistan. Pompeo said on Twitter he spoke on phone with President Ghani and discussed that all parties involved must move the Afghan peace process forward to reach a negotiated end to the war. The U.S. State Department in a statement said that Pompeo assured Ghani that there has been no change to President Donald Trump's South Asia strategy, including U.S. commitment to a conditions-based drawdown. This comes after the Afghan presidential palace earlier this week asked for clarifications following U.S. President Trump's remark that U.S. could win the war in Afghanistan in a week, but he did not want to kill 10 million people. Violence has continued in Afghanistan amid U.S. efforts to negotiate a deal that would see foreign forces troop withdrawal in return for a pledge by Taliban that the country will not again become a safe haven for terror groups.
In news from Nepal, Nepal government has confirmed that the death toll in floods and landslides triggered by incessant rains in the country has risen to 111. The torrential downpour, which has battered the Himalayan nation since first week of July, has affected a total of 64 of the 70 districts.
The death toll in floods and landslides triggered by incessant rains in Nepal has risen to 111, while 67 people have sustained injuries, the Interior Ministry confirmed on Friday. At least 40 people are still missing across the nation, with search and rescue operations underway. The district of Gulmi has recorded the highest number of deaths, with 13 people having lost their lives in the area. As per official records, the calamity has caused damage amounting to over 1 billion Nepalese rupees, and landslides have resulted in loss of physical infrastructures worth 20 million. The torrential downpour, which has battered the Himalayan nation since first week of July, has affected a total of 64 of the 70 districts in the landlocked country.
Around 100 school children participated in a table tennis championship organized recently in Srinagar city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The event aimed to provide young budding players a platform to showcase their talent.
A three-day table tennis championship was organized recently in Srinagar city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province with an aim to provide young budding players a platform to showcase their talent. The district-level championship, organized at the Tehreek-e-Kashmir Indoor Stadium in Srinagar, witnessed participation of around 100 players from various schools and sporting clubs. The top winners from the championships were to be selected for the state level and then further for the national table tennis championships.
ये डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल चैंपियनशिप हो रही है, जो इसमें सेलेक्ट हो जाएंगे वो स्टेट के लिए खेलने जाएंगे और जो स्टेट से सेलेक्ट हो जाएंगे वो जाएंगे नेशनल खेलने. इसमें हमारे को चांस मिलता है खेलने का और एक्सप्लोर करने का गेम, और जो हमारा फ्यूचर होता है इससे ब्राइट होता है.
इस चैंपियनशिप से हमें बहुत बेनिफिट मिल सकता है. देखिए, जैसे कि हम कश्मीर को आगे ले सकते हैं, हम नेशनल इंटरनेशनल खेल सकते हैं, स्टेट खेल सकते हैं, तो इससे हमारी हेल्थ को भी बहुत बेनिफिट मिलता है.
The championship was held under the age group of 12, 14 and 17 category. The participants appreciated the efforts by the authorities and expressed that more such events should be organized in the province.
Hundreds of devotees gathered at a church in India's southern Rameshwaram city to participate in an annual chariot festival. Special prayers were held before the pulling of the chariots carrying idols of three saints through the crowd of devotees.
Scores of devotees gathered at a church in India's southern Rameshwaram city to participate in a chariot festival which began earlier this week. Special prayers were held at the Santiagappar church to mark the auspicious occasion. The church was decorated with lights as chariots carrying idols of three saints were pulled through a crowd of devotees during the annual festival.
கிறிஸ்தவர்கள் மட்டுமல்லாமல் இந்துக்கள் முஸ்லிம்களும் வந்து கலந்து கொள்கிறார்கள். அனைவரும் நம்பிக்கை வைக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு விழா. இங்கே 1,00,000 மேற்பட்ட பக்தர்கள் இந்த ஆண்டில் ஒரு முறை இங்கே கூடி ஒரு 10-15 நாட்கள் இந்த விழா சிறப்பாக நடைபெறும்.
People from other faiths who attended the event were also seen cheering and enjoying with their family members during the festival.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India celebrates 20 years of victory in Kargil war. Opposition parties hold protests against Pakistani Prime Minister. And no change in US commitment in Afghanistan, says Mike Pompeo. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.